Hey, good morning. Let me introduce myself, Blacks and Family. My name is Humphrey Smith, and I live in the United States. But I'm in New York on Long Island. And anybody that knows about New York knows that it's a very fast paced, very competitive, very aggressive place. Not like all the places in the US. A lot of places are really not like this. But New York is, it's a challenge. The U.S. is a challenge, but New York is extremely challenging. It's the vanguard of being challenging. And I wanted to take this opportunity to share with the Blackson family what life is like in the United States. Now, for those that have never been here, this is really for you. For those that are here, you already know. Now, what I'm been doing is reflecting on my life because I'm 59, I'm gonna be 60 soon, and my parents immigrated here when I was a very young child, and they brought us here when I was about almost 11 years old. And so I had to grow up here and learn this place. And one of the things I can look back at now is that for anybody that doesn't know, the US is like a propaganda machine. The stuff that they'll tell you about this country, most of it is lies. There may be some truth, but most of it is lies. If you watch movies and films, you're not really seeing the real United States. What you're really seeing is what they want you to see and not what most people have to endure. So when you're behind the propaganda machine, you know you're reaching out, and especially because they're never going to tell black and brown people what really happens here, especially to them. And that's really important that you understand that. This country has done some good things and a lot of bad things. But there's a brother here, he's an activist. His name is Al Sharpton. And he always makes a point of saying that even a broken clock is right two times a day. So I really don't know if the good things that they have done, if they were accidentally done or not, or if they were intentional. But it seems that this country has only made decisions to do the things it does based on profit margin. So when they do things that seem really altruistic, you wonder why are they doing this? Because if it's not profit driven, the United States does not do it. They just do not do it. So let's begin. When you look at the United States and its history, you have to understand that this nation began with the exploitation of human beings. Because when the Europeans came from England and the other places that they came from, whether it was France or wherever, Spain, they met people that were already here. They were indigenous people. They'll call them Native Americans, the American Indians, but they were indigenous people that were already here. And the white English settler community, they did a genocidal attack against these people. One of the things they did that really decimated the Native American population was they gave them blankets from English hospitals that had been infected with the smallpox virus. Now, the Native American population had no antibodies against things like smallpox. So when this was introduced into their midst, just think of it as biological warfare. They had no defense against smallpox, and smallpox decimated the Native American community. I mean, even to this day, there's only something like 5 million Native Americans that are left. So when that smallpox hit them, not only were they dying, but whoever survived, they were so weakened that they could never ever mount a serious attack against the white settler community because their numbers had been so decimated, and whoever was left was so weakened that they no longer posed a threat. And by doing this, the white settler community was able to basically get these people and do with them whatever they wanted to do. Now, uh, in their defense, I will say that the Native Americans were very trusting. They were very hopeful that they would sign treaties with the white man. And every treaty that they signed, the whites did not honor. They broke every treaty, broke every treaty, broke every treaty. And eventually, they stole all the land from the Native Americans. They created these places called reservations and they put them to live there. These places are typically the worst land, and it's far away from everything and there's nothing near there. Um, they've taken everything from these people. Today, they're really a non-factor in running the nation. I mean, you could say, okay, cool, they've got their own nations and it's on these reservations, but really and truly, If you think about it, this reservation system was a precursor to what South Africa did, using this example, creating homelands for black people and moving them and putting them where they couldn't be seen or heard. Now, the mistake they made was trusting the white man. And if you really look at that example, what the whites did to the Native Americans is really what the whites want to do to Africans. But for some reason, we've just been a little more resilient, and we've never ever stopped coming back from whatever it is they've tried to do to us. Now, racism in the United States is real. It's pervasive. It could be strong, like in your face racism, but it could also be subtle and very hidden and hard for you to detect. But it permeates every level of American society. There's nowhere you could go that racism isn't factored in. And sometimes it leaves a black person or